Hi everyone, back at home as well. I'm Ludmila and I'm studying to be a VPE Education for next year. I've been a class rep since my first year at uni. I've also studied abroad, so I saw things done differently. So with these two experiences, I think that I can do what I'm supposed to do next year. If you read my manifesto, you notice that I'm standing for more flexibility, impact, and sense of community within Strathclyde. By flexibility, I mean more flexibility in curriculum. If you want to take more classes, then you should have some support in it. More flexibility in assignments. Don't just do one essay a semester and then go sit an exam, because you don't really learn much. You should have more variety in assignments, and also more flexibility in assessment, which will actually make you more engaged in studying and interacting with your classmates and your professors. By impact, I mean closer and stronger links with industry, so you get some real work experience before actually graduating, and also more opportunities to study abroad, because you may not know, but it's only 1.5% of our students that actually study abroad. It's such a great experience, you learn so much, so I think that students should be encouraged to go, but also the qualifications they need to meet should be changed so more people can go. And also I want to introduce some sense of community into Strathclyde. It's 4 years or 3 or 5 or however you come here, you get your degree, but do you actually feel like you belong into Strathclyde? I think we need to change that. Within your department, you could buddy up with students from lower or higher years, so you get some motivation and inspiration from them, and also some information about education, work experience matters, whatever you like, and that would include better training and raising awareness for our class reps, because as someone mentioned earlier, there is 130 students in one class and only one class rep. Well, the class rep doesn't really get appreciated then, and it's a lot of hard work for them as well. So that's 3 main things that I would like to see change next year if I get elected. And that's also everything you could read on my manifesto, but what you couldn't read actually is why I chose to be the dragon to fireman. Well, the dragon is a symbol of strength, as everyone knows. So it's also a symbol of that something can be actually done that's need to be important, that's really important to me, but the fireman part is, well, dragon usually destroys everything while fireman saves everything. So there is a little contradiction in it, which just means that we need to change the way we think. So vote for me, and you'll vote for flexibility, impact, and a sense of community. Thank you.
Great. Good evening. I'm Greg Paul, and I'm running for the position of VPE this year because I believe I can bring about a number of changes which will benefit every student who's at Strathclyde in their day-to-day life. I'm a 4th year electronic and electrical engineering student, and I've been a class rep since my first day of first year, and I've been a class rep for 3 years until I get the opportunity to train the class reps this year, which has been really rewarding. I'm also an elected member of the Financial Oversight Committee, which I believe gives me a good position to understand the business side of the union, which is also important as a sabbatical position is also a full trustee of the association. Strathclyde, as you may know, was recently awarded the Times University of the Year 2012 award. That puts us in the national spotlight as a university. This comes at a time when the university's infrastructure is currently falling under the pressure. Has anyone here heard of BlueSocket? Exactly. The Wi-Fi in Strathclyde does not work. They're trying, it doesn't work. If I'm elected, my pledge to you as an engineer and an IT person is I will fix it. I don't mind if I get a toolbox out and walk around university with the director of IT services and fix it with them. I'll do that on the weekend if it needs it. It will be fixed. That's a promise. Okay? There's also problems underlying beyond BlueSocket, which I'm aware of, and I've actually worked with IT services before in trying to sort some of them out, so that would also be something we're trying to fix. I keep my ear to the ground. For example, I guess most people here probably don't know, with no disrespect to you, that the university is currently in a kind of crisis situation right now. As I found out this morning, Pegasus and my place are having a little bit of an issue, and there was talk at the weekend that it might actually go down. Unfortunately, no students know about this. There's also talk it may go down at the weekend if they've still not managed to fix the issue, and this is entirely out with our control. Unfortunately, no students seem to know about this, so if you've got a deadline that was due at that time, you may go in to submit your report on time and find my place has just disappeared, with no blame on the university. I firmly believe that we need to make this a partnership between staff and students, including support staff such as IT, to let us all know what's going on within the university, and say, there might be a problem, bear with us. This is what we need to make students aware of what's going on and feel part of it. In terms of day-to-day things, print quotas. You're all sitting here today. If you have to print something out in the university, you generally have to pay for it, and sometimes it's quite expensive. I firmly believe that I could just sit down with each department and actually present to them the business case for offering all students a print quota. The university is about to move towards or considering a unified system that would encompass printing, and what I'd like to look at is if we could introduce a quota for each department. At the moment, we have an established policy within USA and university that all essential course materials should be free. But this also, I believe, should cover all essential course costs, which would cover printing. There's a whole load of other things that I've mentioned in my manifesto. For example, exam timetables seem to come out really, really late compared to every other university. There's no real reason for this. It could be done in advance, just like staff tell you, do your homework in advance, do your assignments in advance. Could you give us our exam timetable in advance, please? I'd also want to enhance the support available to every class rep and student, because the VPE should be approachable by absolutely anyone. No matter who they are in university, if you've got a problem, come in and talk. I'd also like to introduce a mini-map system, because something I've found from a lot of students is they don't know where their exams are. They're asking me, where is the Bannery? Is that the bar? Have I got an exam in the bar? No, you don't. It's actually in the Bannery Hall, but a lot of people don't know this. So I'd like to introduce a mini-map so that everyone can find out where the exam is, and also introduce a little app for their phone so they can just find out on the day, where's my exam? Oh, here it is. And that wouldn't cost anything, I could make it myself. In an afternoon. Seriously, right. A key problem that many students face is employability, and this is just touched on in the Higher Education Achievement Report. It's really difficult to actually get a job now as a graduate. I've found, that this really will help students with their employability. It lets you see more than just the numbers. You're not just a student number 2009 42222. You are an individual with a name, and you've done things in this university, and you want to be seen and praised for that. They want to roll out a pilot within one faculty. This is good, but it's going to take a while. I'd like to see every student at Strathclyde currently able to get a Higher Education Achievement Report, even after they've gone. Thank you.
James, thanks. Probably apologise first because I've been running about campus chasing up security guards and cleaners for ripping down material, so I'm pretty tired. This isn't going to be a very impassioned speech. There'll be a lot of yawning and stuff like that involved in it. So I'm James Ferns, as I said. I'm a first year history and politics student, and I'm the union's external engagement officer and the vice chair for that forum. I'm also on policy council, and I've been a class rep in first, second, and in third year, and I've worked on the education forum with Rebecca. Basically, the things I want to focus on is I want to make a fairer education. That will involve improving student finance. Basically, for instance, so SAS hasn't actually paid a lot of students this year nationally their actual bursaries, their loans. An instance of this is a person I know at Strathclyde, and he's literally only got £3 in his account, and he lives in halls, which basically means he has to choose, what he's actually going to eat. He isn't thinking of his coursework, he's actually thinking about food. And I think at Strathclyde that's completely unacceptable. I think the role of education should basically focus on making sure that SAS does not get away with this. They do this regularly. I've been elected delegate for NUS and I'll be taking the issue up there, but all year I'll be fighting for improved student finance. Another thing at Strathclyde we need to remember is that a lot of the students are actually commuters, and the fact that travel expenses as a grant was removed means that a lot of students actually dropped out of it. So I need to apologise, I keep looking at you for some reason. Yeah, I said it one person in the audience. Just focus on one person giving a speech. So we need to remember that people are commuters, which basically means that a lot of people dropped out. The dropout rate is actually particularly high at Strathclyde, and I think that's one of the issues. And at NUS I'll be raising this issue as well. Because quite a lot of the students are commuters and also quite a lot of them tend to work, and they're mature students or they're student carers, it means that they might not be able to be in university as early as possible. So I think we should reshape the way that the loan system work in the university. So in my manifesto, I'm saying it should be back at 12 p.m. rather than 10:30, which means you don't have to buy like I can't remember the name, like a peak time ticket, which is about £3 more if you're coming from where I live, which is absurd for carers or people that work. Another thing as well is I think the union should become a lot more relevant to students, because a lot of students, as people have been talking about, don't understand the positions. They don't understand what vice chairs are, they don't understand what the vice president's roles are, and the union's particularly empty. I think if we just focus on building the presence like we used to do on the campuses, and every forum should be more widely publicised, and the groups on my place and stuff like that, maybe if we asked local university for more access into the university's database and stuff like that, we could be more present on the university in that sense. Another thing as well is exam bunching. There's also assignment bunching. In my department, most of my assignments are in 4 assignments in one day from the different classes that I take. I think that could easily be fixed, like Greg was saying, if you just did it in advance. If you just if I'm elected vice chair education, I'll just sit down long in advance next year and just be like, look, this can't happen. You also have to, the departments have to intermeet a lot more as well and make sure that this doesn't happen. A really good instance is there's a class rep called Jerry, and I know him quite well. Last year, the classes clashed really badly. And what the university said was that's too bad, you just have to pick, and one of them was compulsory, so people just missed the other class until Jenny, as a class rep, resolved it. But I think that class rep resolved it, but if the year before that, he resolved it again. So this is recurring each year. So I think the union has to take a really firm stance to the university and say this can't happen. Students shouldn't have to choose between which classes you go to in this university. Another main point as well is I want to focus within NUS and within this campus on postgraduate fees, because currently they're uncapped, which is ridiculous, because that means literally the union can charge anything it wants. And I think if we want to talk about improving access and improving education at Strathclyde, we have to start talking about having a nationally agreed reasonable cap on postgraduate fees. I mean, currently, if I want to get a job, I have to get a postgrad, and at the moment, I just simply wouldn't be able to afford a postgrad, no matter what good a grade I got. I think that's completely unacceptable if we want to broaden access, which is really one of my other issues that I'll be focusing on. But that's really all I've got to say. But thanks.
Right, how's it doing? Alright, my name is Peter McLaughlin. I'm a 4th year business student, or if you've seen my posters, I'm the guy that's laying sideways on a cow. Basically, if I was to get the role of Vice President of Education, I would bring to it my experience of being involved with the clubs and societies, with the University Planning Committee as well, and also more recently as a class representative. My vision would be to have the educational experience being more easier, enjoyable and engaging. For easier, that means breaking down the barriers that stop students in their work, be it the printing system, which in itself is outdated. Cali University and University of Glasgow both have online student printing accounts, which I think would be much more handier. It means that you wouldn't be stopped by forgetting your print cards or losing them, or bending them, or whatever prevents you from getting that done. Also as well, guidance positions for people that have graduated, they can come in and get experience giving guidance to other students that are doing their final year or preliminary year, and it gives you a bit of student one-to-one interaction, and you get to hear what their story was and get more experience that way, which can benefit you more than a lecture. As well, with easier exam bunching and timetable clashes, these are things that are out of a student's hands, so the university needs to be held accountable because students can be under a massive amount of pressure because of this. So making it so that it's not about luck, it's about effort, and that's the way education should be. Moving on to the enjoyable, I'd be very keen on promoting intercourse activities. As such, this would be sporting activities, competitions, socials, all this sort of stuff, so you can meet more people in your course. And also that will make things easier as well, because if you have assignments you need hand with, you'll be able to know more people that are doing it. Moving on as well, course-related societies are a key thing. There's a lot of these that are going on at the minute, and they put in a massive amount of work and effort, and they need to be recognised properly by the university. And I would be keen to get them more finance and assistance as well by their departments, so that they can carry on doing the great work that they're doing. That kind of brings us into engaging as well. At the minute there is the VIP, which is the Vertical Integrated Project, which offers extra academic credit for curricular activities. Now I would like to do that for societies as well that put in a massive amount of work for their courses, and as well as that in MDP, which is in the business school, they're looking to introduce this as well, so trying to spread that out throughout the departments so that you can get more hands-on experience in organisation and stuff like that, which will really come useful whenever you're looking for a job. Also then, ending on, the LinkedIn network for Strathclyde students, both past and current, which would mean that you would have a support network which would offer job opportunities, projects, ideas, different things like that. As well, there's a lot of conversation about the higher education achievement reports. This would make sure that past students would know that this is going on, and would also give an ongoing link for more things to come. Whenever you graduate, you could be looking around in 10 years time thinking, oh, where am I going to get a job next? This would offer you a precise sort of route to look at. So yeah, if you want education to become more easier, enjoyable and engaging, please do vote 100% Pete. If you've already got someone in mind, I would very much appreciate your second vote as well, so number 2 is all good. But yes, thanks very much.